What's up, everybody? And today I will be talking about my top 10 roller coasters at Kings Island. Just a note before I start, I visited this park back in late June this year and did not ride Flight of Fear or the kiddie coasters, but I rode all the other coasters, so I will be counting down those rides in this list. Okay, so let's get started with number 10. Number 10 is the Bat. Now, this is not the original Bat. This is the second Bat at the park, and this was also the first roller coaster that I rode at the park. This didn't blow me away, but it was kind of boring. The layout was kind of boring, kind of bad, but this was also the first ever suspended roller coaster I've ridden. It was made by Aerodynamics, but overall, it's just a decent ride at a pretty decent park. And number 9 is Vortex. Now, this is a very large looping roller coaster, and it's also pretty good, but it's also pretty rough too. I believe it features 5 inversions, maybe 6. I think it's 4 or 5 or 6. But yeah, it's a good ride. It's an Aerodynamics looping coaster. It's a pretty good coaster. And number 8 is Vertigo. This is a Vekoma inverted boomerang. This is my only Vekoma inverted boomerang I've ridden. It's a really cool ride. Now, I say it is better than Carolina Cobra at Carowinds just because of the inverted elements to it. Or it's a good ride. It's not that rough like people say it is, but it's a good ride. Number 7 is Backlot Stunt Coaster. Now, this is supposed to be like a family kiddie coaster, but I find the launch and the triple helix, the first element on the ride, to be very intense and fun, especially in the front row, which I usually sit in the front row when I ride these rides. Since I've ridden the other clone at Kings Dominion, and there's one at Canada Wonderland too, but I haven't ridden that. Yeah, it's premierized most of the launch family coaster, they say, but it's pretty intense, fun ride. You should check it out. Number 6 is Firehawk. This is a Vekoma Flying Dutchman. I like these Flying Dutchman rides, even though a lot of people don't. I think it's the favorite. I think it's the best thing that Vekoma does, and overall it's just a decent ride. But I don't think it's as good as Nighthawk at Carolina just because it doesn't go over a lake. And I really don't like coasters near the woods. I think they're better if they're on top of water or by civilization. I don't know why, but yeah, it's a good ride. Number 5 is the Beast of Kings Island. This might surprise some people. Some people expected this number to be 1 or 2, maybe 3. I put it at number 5 just because, I don't really like the straight sections. I don't think there should be a break in between where you can catch your breath. I don't really like that in roller coasters. I like this back-to-back elements, a good pacing. But this is a good ride. The drop was pretty fun. Another thing is the drop. I sat in the second row, so the drop felt kind of short. It's in the back row, you get more of a drop because it whips you over the top. But yeah, and I only got to experience this once because the lines were kind of long when I went there, especially for this ride. So yeah, it's a good wooden coaster. And it was built by Kings Island itself, too, all the way back in 1979, I believe. Number 4 is the Racer. This also might be pretty surprising. This is a good roller coaster. Even in the back row and it's super rough. It's just cool to experience roller coasters that are super rough, in my opinion. I like super rough rides. It's just kind of fun because it's so rough, and it takes you around. Well, this is a really good. I like the racing roller coasters, maybe a PTC. The good roller coaster. I also like the racing aspect. And if you sit in the front row sign, it's not that rough, and it's an enjoyable ride. Number 3 is Banshee. This is a really good ride, but it really is kind of forceless, and the restraints kind of kill all the airtime and all the hang time that you get. But it's still a good roller coaster. It's number 3 at the park. It's a B&M. Mostly all B&Ms are good. It's not rough. It's very smooth. Probably the smoothest roller coaster I've ridden. It's a really good ride. But it's somewhat intense. It's semi-intense, but it's kind of forceless at the same time. Number 2 is Mystic Timbers. Now, this is a roller coaster that kind of blew me away, I guess. This roller coaster is pretty intense. It's probably the most intense wooden coaster I've ridden. It has some really good airtime, but I think the best factor is the intensity of this roller coaster. I don't know if other coaster enthusiasts do it this way, but I do. It's a pretty good roller coaster. And I sat in multiple rows for this roller coaster. So yeah, I think I sat in the front row, back row, and second row, and I think a middle row also. This is a really good ride. It's second best in the park. But I think you guys all know what's number 1. and it's the one and only Diamondback. This is a really good B&M Hypercoaster. I love these B&M Hypercoaster models. You know, B&M is my favorite manufacturer. I think they do a really good job in their rides. And, you know, this is a really good roller coaster. I've not really decided if it's better than Intimidator, but I think both Intimidator and Diamondback are better than Goliath. Another roller coaster I've ridden, located at Six Flags Over Georgia, in Georgia. But yeah, this is a really good roller coaster. You know, you start out with a really big drop. I like it, and then you go through some hair time humps, and those humps really give you a lot of airtime. But I think the factor that I like the best about this ride is the splashdown brakes. It's really cool. I've never ridden a roller coaster like that before. I think it's really cool. So yeah. Alright everybody, thanks for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment.